Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Before You Call a Contractor. I'm Andy. Today we're going to be replacing a light fixture. This one happens to be a bathroom vanity light fixture, but the principles are basically the same for all light fixtures. Ceiling fans maybe are a little bit different, and I'll do a ceiling fan in a later video. First thing we got to do is take down the old light fixture. First, ensure your wall switch is off and remove the light bulbs. Now, in a lot of bathroom vanity fixtures, the shades are held on by a ceramic nut that's up inside here, and it can be a little difficult to get off at times, but sometimes you just give it a twist like this so you can get that nut started and get it spun off. See, looks like that. Now we have all the shades off. Before we go any further, we need to turn the power off of the circuit breaker panel. Now, some circuit breaker panels are labeled really well and some are not. The one in my house is labeled pretty good, but we're going to use this, which is called a circuit chaser, to find out exactly which circuit breaker it is. Now, as you can see, this is meant to plug into an outlet. But they make this converter, so you convert a light socket into an outlet. So you screw that in. Now what you want to do is turn the light switch back on. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little red LED light on the bottom of that circuit chaser, and that's how you know that the power is on. Now we need to go to the breaker panel. All right, so here we are at the breaker panel. I'm going to open it up. And the way this works is this actually has to learn the panel, and then it'll tell you which breaker to turn off. So you start at the bottom and just kind of go up and touch each breaker along the way. Don't worry if it beeps. Go all the way up and all the way back down. Now, do it again, but this time stop when it beeps. All right, turn that one off. And just so you can see, the little LED light is off on that, so we know the power is now off. So now it's safe for us to take down our light fixture. This particular one just has a single nut in the center that holds it on. You unscrew that. And slide the light fixture off. You got three wires. You got a white, a black, and a ground. Your ground will typically be a stripped wire, but it could also be a green wire. Your black wire is your hot wire. That's where the power comes in. And the white is your neutral. And pretty much all light fixtures pretty much have those three wires. So sometimes, like with a ceiling fan, you may have a fourth wire, which will be red, but we'll cover that in a later video. Next thing we need to do is remove the mounting hardware. Pretty much all light fixtures will come with their own mounting hardware. You're gonna have to loosen up the ground screw because the ground wire is typically always connected to the mounting hardware. All right, guys, sorry about that. The screw is all stripped out, so I had to go get a socket that would fit it so I can unscrew it. Take that ground wire off. Then we'll use a Phillips head screwdriver to take off the mounting bracket. Okay guys, the next thing we're going to do is mount our mounting bracket, okay? But before we mount this mounting bracket, we need to take a look at our light and look at the orientation for the mounting holes. As you can see on this light, one at the bottom, one at the top, so they're mounted vertically. So we're going to have to make sure we mount this vertically so it'll fit on there. You can use the old screws or you can use the new ones that came with the mounting bracket. Doesn't matter, whatever your preference. Now the wire should come through the center of it. And you put your mounting screws in. A lot of times it's easier to start them by hand first. Now I could use a drill to do this, but when I'm doing electrical work, I really prefer to do everything with regular screwdrivers. Heck, you know, maybe if I was doing a whole bunch of light fixtures in one day, I might want to try to do them using a low-powered drill, I would think. And actually, I got this in the wrong hole, so I'm going to have to undo it and start over. Drop that one. And this will work better right here. Alright guys, on this one I did run into a little bit of a problem. I couldn't get the mounting bracket to mount perfectly vertical up and down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out the screws for the pancake box here. And I'm going to turn it just a little bit. I'm not turning it a lot. I was only off by a tiny bit. So, turn it. And I want to go that way with it. Didn't want to go the other way. And put the screws back in. All right, now let's see if I can get that mounting bracket on up here. Vertically up and down. You can bring your wires out through the center. There we go, that's it. It only took a little adjustment. You know, when I first started doing home repairs, I would be intimidated by doing something like this, but once I've done it, it's really very, very basic and simple. So, don't be intimidated by stuff. You know, I always used to say, if something was broken, I couldn't make it any worse, could I? And I probably could, but that was always my own expression. It always seemed to work for me. Well, let's use a screwdriver to screw these in. Now I could use a level to make sure this is perfectly vertical up and down, but I'm pretty good at eyeballing things. And from what I can tell, this looks perfectly up and straight down to me. Get your screws good and tight. Give it one more look before I get super snug. All right. Now the first thing I like to do is go ahead and hook my ground wire back up. So take your ground wire and wrap it around the green screw and tighten her down. Okay. Now for the light fixture, I always start with my ground wire because I don't know, it feels like it's the easiest one to start with. I don't know if it is or not. That's just what I do. What you want to do here is you want to wrap it around the wire as many times as you possibly can, wrapping it all the way towards the ends. When you put the wire nut on it, the two wires are together. Then you screw your wire nut on there. Okay, then you can almost kind of let it hang by the ground wire while you do the other two. So again, take your white wire and wrap it around the existing wire coming from the house and get them to both meet at the very end and put your wire nut on. It's also a good idea, once your wire nut is on there good and tight, give these wires a little snug, make sure they're not going to come apart. A little pull. And do the same thing with your hot wire or your black wire. Okay, good and snug. Now, take these wires and place them back inside the box. The idea is to keep all your electrical stuff inside the box, so if anything ever arcs or anything, it's protected by the box. Then, line your light fixture up, making sure not to crush any of the wires. Now this one, I believe these posts are going to stick out just a little bit too far. So, what we can do is loosen these nuts up here. If I can find my needle nose pliers, loosen this up, and turn this in a little bit. Just like that. Basically screwing it back in, making the screw just slightly less lengthwise. And then tighten your nut back down. And do the same thing with the bottom one. Loosen the nut up and screw the screw back in. Okay, and then tighten the nut back down. Okay. Now again, let's put this up. Make sure all your wires are inside the light fixture or in the box. Get that on there. Take your two basically decorative nuts, put them on the outside. I always like to look around the light fixture, make sure I don't have a single wire sticking out, I'm not pinching anything. All right, in this particular one, we are going to unscrew this decorative thing here. Put our globe on, and get your hand back up in there. If your hands are small enough, not always easy. And screw that back on. Let's get our light bulbs. Okay, so I always like to just do one light fixture at first. This is a 4 light fixture, obviously. I just want to do one, and I'm going to go back to the breaker panel and turn the power back on and make sure that everything's up there right before I do the other 3. Guys, so I'm back at the breaker panel. I'm going to turn the breaker back on that I turned off. Let's go see if our light fixture works. All right, guys, we're back in the bathroom, and we turn our light fixture on, and the light comes on. I'm not going to bore you with me putting up the other 3. The process is exactly the same. I appreciate you watching. Watch out for more videos coming. I'm going to do some other stuff to just, help out homeowners and do some of your own little repairs, remodels, upgrades. All right, guys, have a great day. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Bye.